Hi, everybody. It's Veronica Cole's Sacred Alchemy After Loss, and good afternoon, wherever you are. And I am so excited today as we are entering our sixth day, because remember now, we had 5 days of my teaching in the 5 day workshop, but I did mention that we had bonuses coming up. And and the person that I have here today is the first bonus, and this is Sue Sharp. And I want to read you a little bit about who Sue is. And so just let me find this, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. So, all right. So, Sue is a personal growth coach, an interdimensional dreamer who specializes in dream interpretation. I'm very excited about that. She is a psychic medium who teaches the living to connect with past souls. Sue is a magical Reiki healer who channels spiritual guides to heal bodies and minds. She owns Driftless Life Coaching and Reiki Healing and has worked in the healthcare industry for 25 years. She lives in the beautiful Driftless area of Wisconsin with her husband. Honeybees. Does that mean that you actually raise honey? I raise not honey, but raise bees?
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, you're a Renaissance woman. You do everything. Horses, chickens, ducks, dogs, and resident mouse catcher, Romeo. I love that. That's great. So we're going to move up and talk with Sue a little bit, but we're also going to be incorporating some things today, I believe, with sleep hygiene and psychology. But before I get ahead of myself and push you ahead, I think we should talk a little bit more about, first of all, how are you doing?
I'm great. I love sleep hygiene.
I know it's like one of your areas of expertise, right?
Yeah, I worked in sleep labs for about 4 years of my career. So I can talk about that subject at nauseum.
Wow. So when you say you actually worked in a sleep lab, you mean people actually came there and you were monitoring their sleep with electrodes and that sort of thing?
Right.
Oh, that's
And
fascinating.
yeah, so my end of it clinically was after you had the test done, I sat down with you and I really got a good biography of what you do in your daily life and how that impacts your sleep, and things that you could do to improve it,
That's kind of
and really enhance it. And then I've always been dr- speaking to dreams. That has been something that I've been just studying my whole life since I was about a senior in high school. And so when I watch all the brain wavelength when people are sleeping in sleep studies, I'm like, oh, yeah, they're going into peak right now. Oh, I would get so jazzed up because I would know where in their sleep pattern they were.
yeah.
And I would really watch some fantastic dreamers. And then I talk to them in the morning. They're like, no, never dream. And I would be like, oh, you do. Oh,
So they
yes,
give
you
you,
do.
oh, yes, you do. I know, I saw it. So does that mean that you would say that most people do not recall their dreams?
It's a big percentage. About 70% of people would say that they don't remember their dreams. And then I teach people how to wake in their dream cycles so that they can actually wake up like 3 hours after falling asleep or 5 hours after falling asleep, purposefully wake you up so that you can grab a hold of it while it's still fresh, remember it, maybe jot a few notes about it, and then go back to sleep. And then you'll, in another few hours, you'll go back into that deep phase again, pop yourself out long enough to start remembering. Because for some people, it's really important that they finally get a chance to know that they're dreaming, and then
Mm-hmm.
to start making record of what they're dreaming about. Because as you know, our dreams are just another dimension of our level of consciousness.
Mm-hmm. So when you work with somebody and you're helping them to wake up at a certain time to be able to recall a dream and then write it down, or however they're going to maintain that memory, um, what I mean, that's to me, that's so curious. It's like to help somebody to know that they're going to wake up at, and it wouldn't be a time, it would be when they go into that sleep state. So how do you figure that out? Is this like a process that you just you work on them with their unconscious, or how are you actually really accomplishing that?
Well, because 90% of the population fall into a deep REM at 90 minutes in, you can almost predict the schedule. If you know when they fall asleep, you can just about predict that schedule for them so that you
Oh,
know when they're going to sleep patterns. And it's just helpful for people who don't have great recall, but they know that the level of maybe anxiety or stress in their life could really be helped if they could understand where they are going when they are unconscious. Except for, I believe that's a whole different level of consciousness.
right, right. So, what would you think is the most important thing, or one of the most important things for why would somebody want to recall their dreams? What do you think is important about that, according to what your knowledge has shown you?
Well, a lot of people start doing that kind of, they get into a sleep phase, and if they have a partner, the partner will notice that they act out. They can be, kicking, moving, really aggressive, wake up with panic attacks,
Right,
wake up with sleep paralysis, where in sleep paralysis, you're at the stage where your body can become awake, your brain can become awake, but your body is still paralyzed. And often people will have a little bit of what they think is a hallucination, but it's truly still them just in a phase of sleep. But it feels like you're wide awake, but your body is not moving. And
oh,
it's really frightening. It's really frightening for people. And so it helps them once they figure out the pattern of their sleep, and you start unraveling what are the things during your day that's really causing anxiety in you, because your dreams are just giving you clues.
mm-hmm.
You think of the billions of things that our eyes see in a day, our brains try to disseminate all of that at night and put it in files, like put it in their little magic filing, right? So if we're able to get inside of our heads and inside of our dreams, we can actually start changing the things that might cause some panic in some people, some real anxiety in some people, and then give them a measure of control. And that's what I teach people how to do. Go in, actually be present in your dreams, know that you are dreaming, give yourself a clue. Like I'll say red balloon, I'm carrying a red balloon, or something. And as soon as that happens, you'd be like, I'm dreaming. So then that terrifying dream that you always have, you can get a hold of it because you know you're dreaming. And now you can change that.
So that's interesting, because what you're actually doing is helping someone to do lucid dreaming, right?
Right.
Oh, that's so incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Because lucid dreaming is something that a lot of people want to accomplish or achieve, because you are more in control of what's going on. And the messages are a bit clearer, but I never thought of that. So it takes it out of the realm of being more of a nightmare, because you're not going to that place now. You're sort of, are you more of an observer, or do you, yeah, okay, so you're
Yes,
more of an
you can say
observer.
to yourself, oh, I'm in a dream. And if I
Mhm.
know that I'm dreaming, then I can change the path. When you talk about lucid dreams, the best time to do that is when you want to take an afternoon nap. And that
Mm,
has to do with the circadian rhythm that you're in at that time
right.
of the day. So you can, you know how when you can take that afternoon nap on the couch, you can still hear the dogs walk around, you can still hear people in the house, but you're definitely dreaming. But this is when you can say to yourself, like, I'm going to have a little dream and I'm going to go to Savannah and I'm going to stand in front of the fountain. Okay, you go back, you nod off, and you notice that you start going into a pattern in which you were just thinking about. You follow that pattern a little bit, you can get that control and lucid dream just so beautifully during naps.
Oh, okay. So would you say that this impacts restorative sleep?
Yes. You really, that's, the whole thing about our bodies and how the rhythm of our bodies work, we really need our sleep. Some people far more than others. Some people can deal with less. But you think about all the cells in our body, they need to go through their restructure and
Mhm.
rebuilding, and they have to do that with sleep time.
Right.
So if you're somebody who's not getting good quality of sleep, right, that's really like, then it's very hard, especially if you have a disease process going on. You need to get good quality sleep. And for some people, that little afternoon nappy, like, I'd say happy nappy. If you feel a little grumpy in the afternoon, take a little happy nappy. You just need like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, doze off in that happy nappy, and then you're going to wake up and be much more, exuberant.
Yeah, I really like that. I like the sound of that too. Happy nappy. You've coined that, right? This is Sue's. Okay. I'm good because I've used it
When my
once
kids
before.
were little, I'd say, let's take a happy nappy or a fiesta siesta. And they're like, Mom, it's still a nap.
It is, but it sounds to me like that is a way of also helping your body to regenerate too. So I would think that it's also impacting your immune system and it's doing other good things for you. So
Mhm.
many people have a problem with taking naps. I used to be one of those people. I'm an avid believer in it because I know better now, but also it was just hard for my body to just release and allow myself to rest. I would just think of so many things that I would rather be doing. I'm a doer. So I wanted to
Mhm.
be performing something and doing something and accomplishing something. And I felt like sleep was only for nighttime when I went to bed. So I've learned that lesson. But what about somebody who is an insomniac? I would think that if they were, that first of all, their sleep cycle is disrupted somehow, isn't it? Because if you're an insomniac, you to achieve that REM sleep, you don't really oftentimes get to that, or maybe you get to that, but then you oversleep because you just are so um, tired, and then you go into a sleep cycle, and then it's hard to come out of it. I mean, I think that there's so many dimensions to issues with sleep, but I'm particularly interested in insomniacs because I've had several insomniacs in my practice, and they've all had sleep studies. But I just don't believe that there has ever been any kind of response that really helped them to achieve sleep other than showing them techniques to alleviate anxiety is really a good one, because a lot of times insomniacs, that's the issue that's going on. Their brain is like overperforming.
Mhm.
But do you have any experience with that?
Yeah, with insomniacs, the sad thing is in Western medicine culture, we will send them to a sleep lab for a study and find out when and if they sleep, they're not having any apnea, which means they're not stopping breathing. That's not the problem. They're not short circuiting in their brain. That's not a problem. So then they go say, well, nothing there. And they send them out the door. And now they're going to be even more stressed because they just went through this whole test that told absolutely nothing, which they knew was going to happen, but they don't get the relief. So it's really shutting down that neurologic stimulation. So when I would sit with people, I would like talk about your diet, talk about your exercise, talk about your life. Like, where are you in your life? What's going on with the life issue? Some people's rhythms are absolutely wonkus to what our rhythms are, right?
Mhm.
Naturally for them, they've always been on a different schedule. It's just who they are.
Mhm.
So we then talk about doing the things in your life that will set you up for the best case scenario for sleep, right?
Mhm.
Getting you, like, if it means you need the warm bath, that whole wind down, whatever the wind down is, you need that.
Mhm.
Take even an hour's rest as a win, a solid win, because you
Mhm.
keep wanting encouraging yourself, like we do in everything, and our bodies, that that's what we're looking to do.
Mm.
So, alcohol and stimulants, they all really bugger up your sleep. If
Right.
you go into the doctor for depression and they slide you in with an antidepressant, it really can
Right.
play havoc with your sleep. And then you have someone who's feeling depressed and not getting the services maybe that they really need. They've just added a drug in there, and maybe one of the side effects of that drug is it keeps them awake.
Right.
It dims them even more.
Mhm. Mhm.
So for insomniacs, it's really getting to know their life pattern and then starting to work for little wins. Like I said, an hour at a time, an hour and a half at a time, but building that up, because you teach yourself the pattern of being awake, being awake, being awake. You teach your
Mhm.
body that pattern. And it's one of
Mhm.
those things that you have to kind of unlearn.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of similarities to PTSD, because you're at that super heightened awareness, ready for danger at all times, right?
Mhm.
And they follow a lot of the same patterns, but actually, and truthfully, sometimes the thing that helps them out the most is exactly the same kind of therapy.
Mhm. Yeah. I am, you know, uh, we're talking about, oh gosh, there's just so much to talk about with this because that's a fascinating topic for me. Um, Reducing the anxiety is critical. I know that. And I know it's really important to be able to have REM sleep. And I'm thinking that a lack of REM sleep can also heighten more of that anxiety, right? It can really
Mhm.
bring it on. And, so many people just really, they have such a problem because now their life cycle, the way that they're living their lives, they have to really go about and look at habits. And I try to help people change things very slowly, one thing at a time, because otherwise we can't really adjust to it. We have too much resistance if we're trying to change all kinds of things all at once. And to me, that seems like a better solution to helping people. But I'm wondering that since you're, if you can focus on some of these things in the dream state and help people do interpretation, I'm thinking that that's also going to help them tremendously with their anxiety, with the source of what's going on with them, because they're going to get clues when they're dreaming. And especially if they're doing what you are helping them to do, which is wake up, write something
Mhm.
down, and then look at the clues. And I just love that idea. I think that's great.
Yeah, and so many people have reoccurring dreams throughout their life. And to really understand what that reoccurring dream was about, one of my clients, after knowing him quite some time, expressed this dream that he started to have when he was about um, 10 years old, that he was in the middle of a desert all by himself, and this big black freight train came barreling through the sands of the desert straight for him. And he's little, right? And he's trying to run, but he can't outrun that big train. And now this man is in his later 60s. He still, on occasion, has this dream whenever stress peaks up for him. So one of the things that happened with him is his dad died when he was 8. Think about that. Your dad dies when you were 8. The desert scene is about being completely alone, right? And abandoned. The big
Ooh.
black freight train is death. An 8-year-old cannot understand or comprehend death at that level.
Mm-hmm.
All you know is this terrible, horrible thing happened, and it took someone away. So throughout his life, he became an engineer. In his real day-to-day life, he tried to control it by becoming a train engineer.
Wow.
And when we were talking, and I said, I explained this, that that's death. And in your dreams, you'll notice you don't see big black objects, because those big black void spaces are often the presence of death.
Mm-hmm.
And they just don't show in dreams much. But as a child, you can understand how this happened for him. And when I told him about it, and when we went through that, he was just awestruck, because that was exactly what it was.
Right.
And he said, after we had that discussion, he said, I felt layers fall off me. Layers that I did not even know I was carrying around. Layers fell off me. And he said, it all made so much sense. And he said, I never knew why I had this dream desire. He was one of the youngest people to ever actually go through a train engineering program.
Wow.
Because deep down inside of him, he needed to control that freight train. He needed to be the driver so he wouldn't go after the boy. And he's just like, he was just a whole pile of wow for a while.
Wow. So he sublimated that feeling, and he made it work for him in the best way that he thought that he could.
Right.
So that's interesting. So the whole time he's in his career path, he's actually really trying to control this sensation of the loss that he experienced as a little 8-year-old. Oh my gosh. Wow. That's profound, Sue. That's very profound. Nice work. It's really profound. It's incredible. Wow. So I would think that you're coming up with those sorts of things very often. Now, you're a Reiki practitioner, you're a psychic medium, and so you're utilizing all of these things. So when you're working with people, do you find that this is with them in your presence, or when you find that I don't know if you work with them on the table, is that how you do it generally? And
I do both ways, in person and distant work. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I can't not, when I'm doing Reiki with someone, I can't not channel. For me, I can't not. But when I ask, I'm going to ask my guides in, and only for good, right? Always only for good. There may be people who want to come up and be present for you. Do you want that? If people pause for me at all, I'll say, never mind. Anybody who comes just has to stand along the sideline. They can't speak. They can be off in the center and be present, but they can't be with us. And then other people will say, no, I want to enter them in. So when we go through that process, often I see many people standing around you. Even if I'm doing distant work with you, there are people standing around. And sometimes they give me clues as to who they are. They might actually tell me what their name is. And sometimes they tell me their name. They say their name. They say their name. Other times I'll just remark on, like, I love fashion. Here, sitting in my flannels, I do. And I'll notice when putting their hands on people with me that they might be wearing gloves and they might have buttons up the sleeve. or they might be man's hands that are really, working hands, or they might be a child's hands. I see different parts of them. So yeah, energetically, I can't not have that happen.
Hmm.
But the same thing with there is a way in which you dream sometimes for other people. And
Hmm.
when you get to be really high level dreamer, you can do that.
Hmm.
And so I've definitely had that channeling happen when I work with people and I know them well. I'll be dreaming my own dream and then recognize that I'm dreaming for them.
Wow.
And then
So,
when we meet again, I'll mention something about that came up in a dream specifically, and 9 times out of 10 they know exactly what I'm talking about.
mhm. I just want to tell you that Stephanie King Louder has mentioned that, such a gift. Yeah, that really is a gift to be able to bring in the energy of people that have gone on before you and allow them to come in. And I would assume that they can give you some sort of guidance too along the way, or some sort of clues other than just who they are. Do they ever provide you with any kind of additional clues about what might be happening with an individual, or is it just their presence and that they want to relay that they're there for them?
It's usually just their presence, and I'm really clear with nowadays. I'm extremely clear on what I want. I would say I only want you here for love and support.
Hmm.
I only want you here to help heal. That's the presence that I want for you. So that's directly how I want you to help us today. I've gotten very clear with that because I've learned from the people who will talk, then they're taking away from the session. Like, we are not
Right.
here today for you. we are here for them, not you.
Okay, so you are very much a guide also. So you're making sure that you're keeping the environment safe and that you're letting in what it is that you think is going to best serve the session, right?
Right.
Oh,
Because
okay.
ultimately, we are there to heal you, client,
Right,
right?
right,
That's
right.
what we're here for.
Do you find that your work takes you into when you talk about healing with clients because you're so multifaceted? So I'm just
But
thinking
it
of
all
all
kind
the
of
different.
comes together. For me, it
Yeah.
all comes together. It
Okay.
just like creates the whole
Yeah.
person.
Yeah. And that's very transformative. That's a lot of, what I teach. So it's definitely very transformative. So I know that we had talked a little bit about like, let me see here. Let me see.
Yeah. We had
How
talked a little bit about
connecting with
teaching,
God too.
yes, connecting with your guides, connecting with those that have passed, and
Yes.
that there is a way for everyone. You don't have to be a medium and you don't have to be a psychic. Everyone can have this connection. And I guess what I share with people and what I always want people to know is those that have passed are like so close. Like, if I could crack the seam and open it up, they're right here. Sometimes people are very afraid to think that because they want it so bad. They're afraid to ask.
Hmm.
And really, your people, your family who have passed and who love you are always there in loving support of you. And when you feel lost and when you feel alone, that is really when you are surrounded. You are so surrounded. I wish that people could actually visually see it because then that would help them believe.
Well,
But they don't know how to ask. And there's
right.
definitely that you need to connect. And it's how you ask and where you need to get your mind. You kind of need to get your mind in a good place to be able to be open to ask for connection. And you know how, Veronica, like everybody sees cardinals and says,
Right.
that's who's passed, right?
Right.
When you want to connect with someone who has passed and they mean something to you, you need to be like clear in your own mind and clear with them. Like, I need a specific clue that means something to only us. And then if you can provide them with that clue, like, if you have a standing joke about something, if it's a particular kind of flower, if you're going to say a bird, did you both love one particular kind of bird and it is not one that you always see at your bird feeder?
Right.
You get very clear on what you want from them. And then you have to believe that it is going to show itself, and it will. And then you're going to say, oh, that's a coincidence. And then it'll happen again. And you'll say, yeah, but that happens.
Right.
And then it'll happen again. Because threes. They're not going to stop on you. They're going to do it in threes. So it's not scary. It's not the poltergeist crap. It's not any of that. It's that, again, that love and support, and you know it. When you see it, you know it. And one of my friends that lives locally here, she would say her grandpa always commented on the little yellow butterflies that would sit around the mud puddles. They're just these little tiny ones, and they're little and yellow. And she said she really didn't notice them until after he had been gone for about 2 years. And she said she was taking a walk and she was really thinking about him. And she said she passed this puddle and there must have been about 50 little butterflies sitting around this puddle. And she knows she walks past the same spot every day, so she would have noticed, but that was her clue. And she was like, I just like knew it. I knew it. I knew it. And that's, you'll like grab your chest and your heart, because you will know it in that kind of way. And so then you know you are not alone.
So I think this probably works with smells too, right? That would be probably a similar situation, right? It doesn't have to be a visual.
Right.
So can you give us an example? I know you had mentioned the dime story.
Yeah.
Like to know how this works and how it manifested for you or somebody, that we could really wrap our brain around it.
So the dime story goes like this. My very best friend in the world, her older sister, had breast cancer for years. But her sister constantly said, when I pass, I'm going to be leaving you dimes, like dimes and dimes and dimes and dimes. So she's saying this when she's alive. She's making it really, like, always telling everybody, you'll know me, I'm going to leave you dimes. I actually only ever met this sister one time, because she lived in the different part of the country than we lived. So after her sister, my best friend's sister, finally passed, the whole family in their side started finding dimes, but not just a dime in the laundry, like a stack of dimes sitting somewhere or something like that. And then because I'm so close to the family and so close to her sister, I would occasionally find dimes. But what happened was, every time she and I went on a girls' little weekend, we'd find piles of dimes. Like, we'd go and sit at a restaurant, sit at a table who had just been cleaned, and there's a pile of dimes sitting there. And she would say, see, Cindy loves it that I'm having fun and I'm living my life, and she's sending me dimes. So we went back to our hotel room. This has happened more than once in a bed. Cleaned hotel room. Pull back the sheets. What's laying in the middle of the sheets? A dime or dimes. So then came the time when my best friend moved. So she has moved to the beautiful state of Florida. She is actually Georgia, but I go and I visit her as often as I can. And so when we started not calling each other every day like we used to, anytime I would find a couple of dimes sitting at my house, I would just say to myself, oh, Cindy's saying I got to call Jen. And I'd call her. And in that phone call, something would come up. Well, one day it was in my bathroom. I had just cleaned my bathroom. I was in the bathroom. I went back to put a new load of laundry in, and there are a stack of dimes sitting on my washing machine. And said, oh, I haven't called her. I like, now I speak to her out loud. I haven't called her. Okay, I'm going to call her. I took these dimes and I moved it over to where the sink sits, and went and did something and came back. When I came back, the dimes were on the floor. Okay, I'm going to call her. And I pick up all these dimes and I put them inside my, everybody's got a little coin jar, at least all my friends do, on top of your washer or dryer where you put the change. Mm-hmm. It's got a lot of change in it. I put my dimes in there and I went to leave the bathroom and it flipped over. Now it couldn't have flipped over. It's a wide base. It was full of change. And I didn't rock it or knock it. I just stuck it in. When that happened, I said, no, I'm calling now. So I call now. Well, talk to her, like, what's going on? She says, no, everything's fine. I said, I have a feeling something's not fine because these dimes are happening. And my coin jar got knocked over. So silence for a bit. And then she told me she had breast cancer. And she had just been diagnosed. And that was her sister in a very large way saying, don't leave her alone. Mm-hmm. You need to reach out. Wow. And so these kind of things, when these start happening for you, they cannot be denied, and you shouldn't push them off. Mm-hmm. Because divinely, you are being guided.
Right.
You need to be there for that person. And this is the biggest thing that I can say about people who've passed. Sometimes they're playing golf. Sometimes they're out doing whatever the things that they loved to do. They're doing those things. But sometimes they sense that they're needed. And when they're needed, they come really close. And they try to pull in the troops, so to speak, right, of people that can be there to guide you and help you. So, never underestimate these really strong feelings when you have them.
So we're talking about being connected to the spiritual element of who we are, right? It's looking beyond and going into the metaphysical, the above, which is above us or above the physical consciousness of who we are, and allowing that to just to come into our lives. I think that being able to know that you could make this connection is very, very comforting. And it sounds like it's really actually an easy process. It's just a matter of getting clarity on something that the two of you may have shared and that you want to have them sort of present that to you so that you'll know that they're thinking of you or that they're giving you a message of some sort, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's what I do with clients. Sometimes the only time I see someone is they want to be able to reach out to someone. They want also to know that it's safe, because I think we see a lot of stuff on TV that's not true, right?
Right.
But they need to know that that connection is still alive and still there. And they need that guidance. They just need that loving support to open them up and help them get there.
So what if a client wants to connect with a guide, and I guess a guide could also be someone that's passed on that loved you, that you had a loving connection with. But what if you want to be in contact with your guide? Do people ever come to you and want to know how to make that connection, or what's the best way for them to go about it?
Well, whenever you want to connect to your spirituality and then to open to that higher source and invite guides to be with you,
Hmm.
you need to like contemplate who would you want? Kuan Yin stands really big for me. And I've read a lot about her, and this is just recent that in the last 6 months that she's come into my periphery. But I definitely know that she's there. So when people want to know, it's like first we have to reach out through ourselves, right? We've got to like really get whole with ourselves and open our minds up in a way that allows for information to come. Because you've got to be ready to like open up the giant brain funnel, right? If you know
Right,
what I mean. Like you
right.
have to be ready for this to happen. And then once it does happen, you start inviting people in. So for me, I have another best friend who died way before she should have. But I know she's got my back all the time. I've actually tasked her out as a protector for certain members of my family because I know her. She will protect them in the best way that she possibly can
Oh,
from the realm that she's in. Um, you too can call people forward, especially when you feel like COVID, like COVID. Huh.
right.
I found myself universally when I'm in meditation saying to all the people who have passed from COVID that now you have this unique ability and responsibility to help the scientists, to help the lawmakers, to help the public health service, to push them along. It's your job now to come behind these people and lift them and hold them.
Mm,
And
yeah.
that's what I call to them all the time. So, Veronica, like, let's just say you feel like you need a strong influence.
Hmm.
Okay. And you want that spiritually, you want that to be your guide, you want that person to be your guide. I would say to you, really concretely picture them in your brain. If you can see the whole picture and image of them, that really helps.
Hmm.
But in meditation, you need to meditate on asking them in and then let them know why. What is their goal? What is their responsibility going to be with you? When it's clear, you have that sensation. Just like the girl that knew those butterflies were her grandpa, you know that that has been accepted and that they are there to work for you.
Mm.
And so you always like ask them forward,
Oh,
ask them to come forward and move through you. But the clearer the picture, the more you know about them, the clearer your ask, you'll know. You'll just know. It just kind of like sets, like, yes.
yeah. It's like you're calling them forth. You're calling upon them to work with you and to be present for you. I love
Mm-hmm.
that. One of my guides that I know of for a fact is Albert Schweitzer. I don't know if you know who Albert Schweitzer is,
I
but
do. I'm old enough.
okay. Well, but I read a wonderful book by him years ago, and I went to a place called Lilydale, which is in Lilydale is near Buffalo, New York, and it's a spiritual community, and everybody that lives there, and it's around a lake, and everybody that lives there has to prove that they are psychics or mediums of some sort, and they have to prove it in various ways before they could even think about living there. So it's a spiritual community that's filled with all of these different types of mediums and psychics. And I always wanted to go there, so I did. And in the summertime, they have classes throughout the summer. I doubt if maybe they did because they do them outside. And then you can choose, and you can just go to any house that you want. Or if you know of a particular psychic that you want to go to, that you've heard about, you can find out where they live and you can go there. But it's an incredible community. So I went there and I saw this in beautiful, in very old woman. She was like a little old lady. I hate to categorize somebody like that, but she seemed kind of frail, but she also, she had lots of wisdom, you can tell. And she said to me, and this was interesting because I was really, she said, Albert Schweitzer is here for you. And he wants you to know that he is here to guide you. And I was like, oh my God, because I went there originally because of the death of my brothers, and I wanted to make a connection with them. And I did. I made a connection with the youngest brother, Christopher. And it was sort of a similar circumstance, but she said things that was only between Christopher and I. And so I knew that it was Christopher, and I knew she was real, because I still had a little bit of doubt that there could be possibly this community of psychic people living in this area. Like, how unreal is that, in my mind? So I always need proof. That's part of who I am in some cases. But in this case, I did. And it really cemented the proof for me that, we do have guides. We do have people that love us. And when people pass on, they're still there for us. I actually would like to have a little more contact with my siblings that passed. But this was a good reminder for me to really call them forth again, and to call forth Albert, because Albert is a very strong influence. And I love him, and he was guided with love. He was guided in the Christian faith, but and I believe he was religious in that sense. And that's not really who I am. I'm spiritual, but I don't apply to any particular dogma. But I loved his philosophies about life, and he was all about helping people. He was an amazing human being. So thank you for helping me to remember that, because that really brings it all back for me, and it's wonderful. So, Sue, if people want to work with you, how could they do that, number one? And number two, what would they be doing when they work with you? Because what would your abilities be in terms of working with them if it was from a distance?
Well, I am driftlesslifecoaching.com, or that's the website. Because of the wonderful world of Zoom, I can meet with just about anyone in any time zone, right? That's the really, I guess it's the pandemic's part of its magic that has afforded me a bigger base. Because for a while I was narrow in thought and really thought, I want to see you in a chair with me, but now for the last year, I've been working not exclusively, but largely online. So that is definitely a possibility. How I work with people, performance coaching, of course, but mostly everything eventually becomes, you get the whole thing. Like,
okay.
You just can't not, right? Like,
yes.
Even if you're a coaching client, you wind up getting Reiki. Even if you're a Reiki client, you wind up getting coaching. We will always talk about your spirit and your guides that are there for you, because they're there for you. We will always talk a bit about your dreams. We will always talk a bit about how you're doing emotionally, physically, all of that. But like everything, if you only want one thing one time, you can have one thing one time. So, yes.
All right, so you're multifaceted. We know that you're a Renaissance woman, and we know that things are at your fingertips, literally. Okay. I'm going to have Amanda put your website. Oh, I think she just did. I think she just did. Amanda's amazing. Thank you, Amanda. There are comments on here from people that I want you to know about.
Yeah, read.
So, okay, because I can't see their names. Um, we can't really go through who this is from, but let me see. One person says she's actually going to a Reiki master. Another person is saying that this is fabulous. Okay, she's talking about dreams within a dream. The FDA just approved for those with PTSD. Oh, this is interesting because Stephanie posted this, a watch monitor that taps, wait a minute. Okay, that taps at your wrist softly first and more gradually as needed when recognizing concerning heart rhythm in an effort to redirect them. Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Okay. And then such a gift from Stephanie. Amanda said it's very fascinating. She misses somebody, a Facebook user misses her mother very much. And then your website. So we usually get people that will go on a little bit later too and be able to view things. And I'm glad that your website is on there because I really want people to know more about you. And also, they had to click on a certain way in order to make sure that they could post on StreamYard. And I don't know if everybody did that. So I want to thank you for that, Sue. Is there something in leaving, because we're getting close to the end of time here and I'm going to finish up with my group, but is there something in leaving that you might want to share with people that you would think would be helpful?
The thing I want to share with all of you is, like everything in life, you have to ask for what you want. And you might feel like you don't know what you want. And that's why often they'll come to you, they'll come to me, right? They want to know. There's an inner knowing. And once you get well accustomed and aware of that inner knowing that you have, your inner guidance center, the rest becomes easy. But sometimes we think it's hard, and it's never as hard as we make it out to be.
Right. That's wonderful. It has been delightful to have you on, Sue. I thank you for taking the time to spend with us today and sharing your magic.
I'm glad you're my twin.
Yes, we are. We're twinsies. So have a beautiful day, Sue. And I'm going to speak to my people in the group now, but it's just been really, really good. And
well, Veronica, you're a rock star. Anybody that is going the 9 yards like you do, you're a rock star.
Okay. Well, we still have 3 wonderful interviews to go yet, but you christened us with the first interview. So thank you so much, Sue. I appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone.
Be well. Okay, that was fantastic. That was fantastic. I just love Sue. Sue Sharp is an amazing human being, and she has so much to offer, as you could probably tell. That was just the tip of the iceberg because we just did a quick interview for what was it? Well, it was close to 50 minutes. So you got a little bit of a taste of Sue. And now I'm going to, in closing, I'm going to talk a little bit about my program because the doors are open, and I am so excited because I know that, like you, I have a broadcast system. I am transmitting as well because I know that energetically the right people are going to find me. The right people are going to say yes to my group. The right people are actually, they're already there energetically. And I know that timing is everything. And I know that there is no such thing as, well, I can't do it right now. It's not possible. And so what I'm going to ask is 3 questions that I might like you to think about is, why would you want to do my program? Well, if I'm going to answer it because I'm obviously the creator of this program, I'm going to say because you want to live a more expansive, more beautiful, a life that is creating for you more of the deep desires that you have in your heart, right? We talked about the heart. We talked about consciousness. We talked about different modalities all throughout this past 5 days. I've told you my stories, and that is just the tip of the iceberg of my stories. But the healing stories are really critical, because the point is that I knew that there was more, and I was in pain. I wanted to stop the suffering. And it took a long time, because to find my path, I had to go through all of these different areas. But in my program, you have the path there. The path is shown to you as to how to heal. Now, we may have to do some intrapsychic work, and working in a small community of like-minded empaths and highly sensitive individuals to support you along the way. That's how you get nourished. And it's not being in isolation that makes you heal. What creates a healing environment is relationships. And the relationships have to be the kind of relationships that can feed you, nurture you, that get you. And, in life, we have to seek this out, to find people and situations that we really feel comfortable in. This is the kind of situation where you're coming into a loving environment, and right off the bat, you're being appreciated. So signing up now for my 12-month program might seem like it's, oh my gosh, I can't do 12 months of anything. And I know it seems like a lot, but I have discovered, because I did offer a 3-month program, I did offer then a 9-month program, but healing takes time. And to really get healing, to have this perceptual change, like I talk about, it's when you change your perception, which comes about through healing. You're not white knuckling it anymore, trying to convince yourself to do a certain something or not do a certain something. It becomes a part of who you are. It's like natural, right? It's like putting something into play that is just a natural fit. It's like a hand in a glove. It just fits. And that perceptual change is what allows the energy in you to propel you in the direction that you need to go, that you want to go, to achieve what it is that you'd like to achieve in your life. So working with me, and why work with me? So I'm answering my own question, right? Why work with me? Because I have been down this path, and because I have incorporated all aspects of my personality. It's just not the intellect, right? I know that from being a modern psychoanalyst and from learning and studying that for years. It is not the intellect that heals you. And it is the emotional path that you have to go down in order to work through these situations. We can get moments, we can get relief from certain other modalities. And I'm not saying that we can't even get some sort of a healing from these too. But in order to make this a change, which is part of who you are, where there's a perceptual change, this is where I'm taking you. This is what I do. And I am willing to go into the pit of hell with people in order to bring them back up again, because my program is all about bringing recovery to you so that you have this massive transformation of who you are, and eventually an ascension into the bigger piece of who you are, which is also incorporating the spiritual part of you. And it's not about any particular religion. It's not about any particular deity or whatever it is that you think is bigger than you. That's what it is. And when you get to that point where you have incorporated all of that, that's where you have the ascension, right? The ascension is about raising up. It's about, it's like the phoenix rising from the ashes. They had to go through, we all have to go through a process to get to a rebirth. And when we've lost someone, when we're suffering, it is a horrible thing to suffer alone. It's a horrible thing to endure a loss of whatever it is, of a human being, of a position in your life, of, a marriage or a relationship, or the fact that you were betrayed so severely that it messed up your life in a way that you don't know how to find it back again. All of these things are horrible losses. But to do them alone, no, because it is in community that we heal, but it has to be the right kind of community. It has to be the community that gets you. And one of the things that I have made very sure of is that, number one, this Facebook group that you're in, Sacred Alchemy After Loss, it's not just anybody that is in that group. You are empaths, right? You're spiritual seekers. Chances are you live a very holistic life, or you have a lot of the elements of incorporating that into your life. You're highly sensitive. A lot of times people just told you were too sensitive. In this group, they get that. So this group is very safe. And I really want that to be, and it is, the cornerstone of my program, because my program is about feeling safe enough to be able to be in that program once a week, to be able to bear your thoughts and feelings when you're, first of all, once you're integrated and you feel comfortable enough. And then every other week, you work with me. So every week, you're in the community of this loving, beautiful group. And then every week, you work with me on some of the issues that maybe you're not ready to share in the group yet. But I have found, with all of my years' experience of working as first of all, a group therapist and an individual therapist and a couples therapist, that it is the combination of these things that accelerates our healing, because it's the energy and it's the form and it's the way that it is done. And that's why I studied for 7 years with a master. And I wrote that in my, it's in my bio. I think in both pages, in the page that might be on the Facebook group now, but also was in the registration bio. Oh, it might not be in the registration bio. I think it's only in that new page that was put up there with my program just the past day. I studied with this individual and he was a master. I really wish he was still around, but he was internationally known for the work that he did. He wrote books and they were fabulous. But he really was invested in healing, and he really was invested in helping people move forward. And I feel that he works with me all the time, is the more I'm thinking about it, because I've called upon him so often for his guidance, because I know that Lou Ormond, not only was he a master, but he believed in me. He believed in me. So you see how the power of belief can really help us. So I want you to think about that when you get a chance. Look at the program that is listed on this page, and I believe Amanda posted it. And we will see you tomorrow, because we're at the top of the hour. But I want to tell you is that tomorrow we have Mary Rose Bailey. Mary Rose is another phenomenal human being. And because you know what? Those are the type of people that I'm attracted to. I'm attracted to people that are healers, that are seekers, that love, and that really can be honest. And, that I don't have to like muck around with all of their stuff. You know what I'm saying? I want a person that is really whole and that believes on working on themselves and are growth oriented. Well, Marianne is unbelievably beautiful when it comes to talking about feng shui. She's a feng shui practitioner. We'll know more about her tomorrow, of course, but I just want to introduce you in that way. And we are going to talk about ways to, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's ways to bring in more of the element of prosperity into your life through your entryway, and more of the prosperity into your life from your bedroom. Okay, so those, I believe, are the two things that we're going to work on tomorrow. She may have other ideas because I really like to leave it up to the person that I'm interviewing as to where they want to take this, but it's going to be wonderful. So tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. And there is a replay of this. There's going to, and if you're watching this in the replay, just let me know in the comments. I would love that. And you can go back if you have not watched my videos of the 5 days. They are all in, I believe, the units section, which is at the top of the page, depending on where you're looking. If you're looking on your computer, it might be on the side. I'm not sure, but you will, wherever you see units, you click on that, and it will take you from day one through the whole thing, like through the whole 9 days, because this actually ends up being 9 days, but it was 5 days of the teaching by me, and then 4 days of another form of learning that you're getting from the people that I'm interviewing. So go back and look at them. And then if you decide that you want to give me a call to know more, or you have other questions, I do have a schedule in that page, which will show you different times that you can connect with me, and we can have a phone call about that. So sky's the limit. All right, everybody, have a really good rest of your day. We'll see you at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Remember, all the videos will be coming down at the end of the day on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, February 9th. So you want to make sure you catch all of them. All right. All right. Take good care. It was good seeing all of you. Be well. Bye-bye.